Hey guys, this looks like a fun one. It says, what's the area of the red triangle? So we need to find the area of all this inside here. And we're given that this triangle has an area of 6. This is day 29 of our Aggvent calendar. For the month of December, we're going to solve 31 Katrina Ag puzzles in 31 days. And if you want to try this one, pause it right now because I'm going to solve it in 3, 2, 1. First, let's focus on these two triangles. Let's color this one orange and fade out everything else. The base of this orange triangle is a radius of this semicircle, and the base of this blue triangle is also a radius of this semicircle. Let's label them both as r sub 1. Let's draw a line perpendicular to the base of the blue triangle, and let's call it h sub 1. It's the height of the blue triangle. And then if we extend this base all the way out here and drop a perpendicular line from this vertex, that'll be the height of the orange triangle. Let's call it x. Now we can write area formulas for these two triangles. For the blue one, we have 1/2 a base of r sub 1 times a height of h sub 1, and that's going to be equal to the area of 6. And then for the orange triangle, it's 1/2 times the base of r sub 1 times the height of x. And we don't know what that is yet, so let's call it area of orange triangle. Let's simplify this one real quick. Let's multiply both sides by 2. The 2 and the 1/2 will cancel each other out, and 6 times 2 is 12. So we know r sub 1 times h sub 1 is equal to 12. And then let's make these dashed lines solid. And let's focus on these two triangles. There's a little triangle here and a big triangle here. Since these were both perpendicular lines, these are both right triangles. And the hypotenuse of the little triangle is going to be the radius of this semicircle. Let's call it r sub 2. And then this piece is also a radius of the semicircle, so let's call it r sub 2. Now these two right triangles share this angle. That means they're similar triangles because they have two angles that are the same. Since these triangles are similar, we can set up a proportion. We can do the small height divided by the big height equals the small hypotenuse divided by the big hypotenuse. So it'll be h1 divided by x equals 1 r sub 2 divided by 2 r sub 2. And then we can simplify this. R sub 2 over r sub 2 will cancel each other out. And then we can cross multiply. X times 1 is x, and 2 times h sub 1 is 2h sub 1. And now we found that x is equal to 2h sub 1. And then for this x down here, let's scoot it over. Let's plug in 2h sub 1. Let's switch the r sub 1 and the 2, and then the 1/2 and the 2 will cancel each other out. So now we know the area of this orange triangle is r sub 1 times h sub 1. Well, that's equal to 12. So let's change this to 12. That is the area of our orange triangle. Let's add the label here, and let's keep track of everything up here. Let's make this one orange, and let's give it a label of 12. And then let's color this triangle yellow, and let's do this one purple or pink or magenta, whatever that is. So we now know this part and this part of the red triangle. We got to find this yellow triangle and this pink triangle. Let's color this triangle yellow. That's what we're going to find next. And let's rotate it like this. And then once again, let's focus on those two triangles. This looks just like the last one. They both have a radius of this semicircle, which is this one up here. Let's call it r sub 2. And then we can draw the height for this one. And let's call it h sub 2 because it's different than our last height. And then for the yellow triangle, let's drop this perpendicular line. And this time, let's call it y. Does that make sense, y? And now let's do just like before. Let's express the area of the blue triangle, which would be 1/2 r sub 2 times h sub 2 equals the area of 6. And then for the yellow triangle, it'll be 1/2 times the base of r sub 2 times the height of y. And that'll be equal to the area of the yellow triangle. We can simplify this one. Let's multiply both sides by 2. 2 and 1/2 will cancel each other out. And 6 times 2 is 12. Now, if we fill in both of these perpendicular lines and focus on these two triangles, they are going to be similar triangles. Once again, they each have a right angle at that perpendicular line, and they both share this angle here. These labels are kind of smushed here. Let's make this one red and the h sub 2 red, and let's make this one blue and the y blue. Now you can see which one goes with which. And then the hypotenuse of this smaller triangle is the radius of this semicircle. This is this semicircle here, so let's call it r sub 3. And then this portion is also a radius of that semicircle, so let's call it r sub 3. Now we have two similar triangles. Let's set up a proportion. We can do small height divided by big height equals small hypotenuse divided by big hypotenuse. So it'll be h sub 2 divided by y equals 1 r sub 3 divided by 2 r sub 3. We can simplify this. This r sub 3 and this r sub 3 will cancel each other out. And then we can cross multiply. Y times 1 is y, and 2 times h sub 2 is 2h sub 2. And now, just like before, in the place of this y, we can plug in 2h sub 2. We can rearrange the r sub 2 and the 2, and the 1/2 and the 2 will cancel each other out. The area of the yellow triangle up here is equal to r sub 2 times h sub 2. But r sub 2, h sub 2 is equal to 12, so we can change this to 12. Now let's bring these back and let's give this a label of 12. And let's update this one 12. Well, that's exciting. Now we have the orange, the blue, and the yellow. We just got to get the purple one. And now this magenta one is located right here. So let's rotate it like this. Let's outline it and color it magenta. And now the base of both of these triangles are equal to the radius of this semicircle. That's this one right here, so it'll be r sub 3. I'm realizing this is going to be just like the last two, so let's fast forward. The area of the pink triangle is equal to 12. So let's update this triangle right here, 12. And now we're done with all this. Let's bring back the original diagram. What's the area of the red triangle? Well, the area will be equal to this 6 plus the 3 12s. Now we just got to simplify this. 3 times 12 is equal to 36, and 6 plus 36 is 42. Let's go to the label of units squared and put a box around it. The area of our red triangle is equal to 42 units squared. How exciting. Here's the next problem. It wants to know what's the area of this triangle. We're given that the height of the triangle is 4, and we have a circle here with diameter of 3 and a circle here with diameter of 2. This will definitely be a fun one. How exciting.